So in this segment, we're going to be discussing Zack Polanski, who is hoping to be the leader of the Green Party, versus this absolute right-wing goon.
The point is, privatisation works when people, consumers, are able to choose. People don't have a choice. The government have still made that choice for them.
There's still...
But, how are you supposed to choose your own individual water companies? Like, you would have to change, I think it would be impossible to do something like that because of the fact that you can't, unless they make it like the energy companies and, they buy the water from someone who generates the clean water. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, in certain areas, it makes sense for the government to run things.
It needs more privatisation, not less.
Water
I would love to ask her how you could privatise the water system more.
is a human right, and anything that's a human right should be nationalised. Ultimately, anything that should be a public service should be in public hands.
What is a human right? Do you think food's a human right? Would you nationalise Sainsbury's?
Nationalise food.
Well,
And that's what I mean. Like, they just use the most ridiculous arguments, like nationalise Sainsbury's. Like, with water specifically, like the way it works in this country is you have different companies that deal with it in different regions, which again it doesn't make sense because effectively it's a monopoly.
I think there's a lot to be said for making sure that everyone in the country can eat, particularly young people, which is why
but would you nationalise
It's
food?
policies like this that, by the way, that cause mass starvation in countries like the Soviet Union.
I mean, that's an absurd thing to say.
This is exactly what it is. When the government take control of food, when the government take control of things that are important.
It's literally not what he's arguing. He's arguing for water, which in Scotland, I think it's run by the Scottish government. In Ireland, I think the water is run by the Irish government. In Wales, it has like a company, but I think it's kind of run by the government. It's similar to the post office. So this argument is so garbage.
They end up absolutely causing ruin throughout those industries. Fundamentally, I think food, water, electricity, all of these things are incredibly important, and that's exactly why I don't want the government to take their hands
The point
on
by
it.
human right is no matter how poor you are, you should have access to water and clean water. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah. The human rights thing, I don't understand. I mean, we've all got a human right not to be a victim of crime. We've got a human right... in the end, life's not like that. It doesn't work like...
I mean, this is so dumb. Like, a crime is something that generally happens to you. Like, you're the victim of a crime. Like, like providing people water. Like, honestly, this guy's breaking my brain a little bit. Like, there's no crime. Like, you're providing someone a resource they need to live. Like, if you don't, I was saying that word a lot. If you don't provide them it, they could end up in the hospital or dead, for example. And there is the social contract of, the things that society should provide for you. Because at that point, you might as well just get rid of everything.
Some people are poor.
Well, I think it could be like that. That's why.
Yeah, some people are poor, but not me, guys. I've got a TV show. I have the Jeremy Vine show, and I cycle around on my bike and I film people and I piss people off. It's just the reality of the world. I'm rich. What do you want me to say?
We have a police force, for instance, that is funded by the government. I think services that require people to get about being in society.
I think that the fact of the matter is the government taking control over so many of these industries results in people not being able to make those choices. Food, I think, is actually a really good example of that. We don't want the government meddling in food, where actually we have pretty good food industry. We've got grocery.
Yeah, because of government regulations. Why do you think our food industry is not like the American food industry? It's because there are regulations in place to stop them doing that kind of stuff. Do you think there wouldn't be corporations that are willing to cut corners in order to undercut other people, but also make more money?
People are able to make choices. What I want to see is more free trade. Let's remove tariffs.
Free trade with who?
And quotas from Moroccan tomatoes that are being imported to the UK. Why do we have
In exchange for what?
them? It's because basically when we're a member of the EU, we've still kept them on. Let's take actual opportunities from Brexit and repeal all of that stuff.
Brexit has come up, my goodness. I thought it was coming.
Opportunities from Brexit.
Brexit gives
quite
us
triggering.
these opportunities. Let's actually go and take hold of them.
No, with the removing tariffs off and quotas of Moroccan tomatoes, maybe that's not the worst idea in the world, depending on what we actually get in return. Or maybe you just do it because the UK doesn't really produce tomatoes, especially since, we don't have the greenhouses anymore. But, like, a lot of the arguments making, like, there's policies that cause mass starvation in the Soviet Union. Like, he's talking about nationalising water, not, feta cheese. And there's more, he goes on in this other clip.
Well, Zack, thank you for coming in. First time on the show, deputy leader of the Green Party and running for the leadership. So what made you decide to do that?
I think there's a huge space in British politics where the Conservatives utterly failed this country and people voted Labour expecting change. But actually they're getting more of the same, whether it's the cuts to winter fuel payments, whether it's to pensioners or the waspy women, I think there's a space in British politics.
The waspy women was particularly egregious, in my opinion. Like they ran, consistently saying they would back them, and they said, "Psych."
For a politician and a party to say this country needs bold leadership, we need radical change,
Mm.
and actually people are sick of the two old parties.
I just wonder if you look around at the other green organisations. Just Stop Oil get a lot of attention. There's a group called PETA. Did you see this thing that they had a robot cow that started prancing around?
PETA's more of an American thing.
See it, right? So they put this what it does is it moves. It's called Charlie XC Cow.
This is the height of British journalism, folks. The height of interviewing. This right here showing some random robot cow. This is the height.
Oh, that's brilliant!
And
like
it
this, like the
moves
singer.
if it detects you're wearing real leather.
Wish I collected stamps, bro, or Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Now, why isn't the Green Party doing this stuff?
I mean, this is impressive. It definitely gets us talking. I think also for the Green Party, the big thing is everyone knows we care about the environment, but something I'm really, really keen for people to know is we've got loads of policies on the national health.
This what I mean, like you will not get the attention of voters if you push things like veganism. I'm sorry, like the average voter does not care if you do this stuff; they will switch off instantly. What you got to push is the economic message. That's what the public care about most.
Health service to making sure we're building council housing.
The media love this shit because it's so easy to point, oh, look at this, a robot cow, and they don't have to do serious journalism because they don't know how to.
To making sure that we're dealing with the cost of living.
But my point about Just Stop Oil,
he circled back to the cost of living, which is stuff you love to hear.
Oil and Extinction Rebellion and so on, is that they seem more radical.
Right.
They do.
People hate them, bro. People do not like Just Stop Oil. They have a negative opinion of them.
I mean, okay, I'm not suggesting you want to be throwing tomato soup at a Van Gogh or whatever, but they're the ones who get the headlines.
So this is a big part of my campaign that people can find out about at backzack.com, which is essentially about talking.
So I mean, like the problem in the media, so I'm interrupting him a lot, which is they'll cover nonsense.
About bold leadership, and part of that is cutting through to the media. So I'm really happy to be on your show today because I think very often people haven't heard from Green Party politicians.
Yeah.
And I think knowing that we've got this whole range of policies and things we care about, and actually we're getting elected in record numbers. We've just in the last 8 local elections, we're the only party that have made net gains. So I'm really excited for the future of the Green Party, and I'm excited to hopefully be leader.
Okay.
Other than reform, they also made net gains.
And not in the last 8 years.
Yeah,
so
I think
reform.
there's something statistical going on there, but
Yeah, there's a nice try there. From Reem there, but I'm glad he's getting more coverage. I think he's done well. He's gone on the podcast. He's gone on YouTube channels and stuff. I did email him asking him if he could be on this channel, but that was only like the last couple of days, so I don't know if that will happen. But I think he's done the right thing, which is when the media don't want to cover you, you get your own attention and you go to the outlets that will cover you, as long as they're not like neo-Nazis and all sorts of other despicable dodgy actors. If you find he's gone on, I think, Politics Joe, he's gone on Navarra, he's gone on Jimmy the Giant, he's gone on other channels, and I think that really helps push his message. And it also shows that he does get views and he does get clicks, and that's what the media obsesses over. Like the fact that you get Farage on Question Time all the time, but not this guy. It's just an indictment of the media. I think that they're more obsessed with platforming reform. There is a thing coming out, a piece over the weekend from Bienkov, where Adam Bienkov, where he was talking about how the BBC are trying to push their programming more towards Reform UK, and he just this is the national broadcaster essentially kowtowing to a right-wing party, a populist party. But it does show, and the thing is, that's going to be their demise. A party like that is just going to massively defund them. So it doesn't matter how much they kiss the ring, it's not going to work. But I digress. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel on Patreon if you can, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.